And we're moving on for now. A report put out by Pakistan's Center for Research and Security Studies cites 2024 as the deadliest year for Pakistan's security forces in a decade in terms of personnel killed in insurgent and sectarian violence. And topping the region's hardest hit was Balochistan, that's suffering from a 75-year-old insurgency. The fact that the rebellion originates in educated youth spells of the region spells out the nature of the anti-Pakistan sentiment. Here's more in this report.
Wednesday morning at the main square in Zehri in Balochistan's Khuzdar, some 60 rebels of the Balochistan Liberation Army grab control of key civilian installations. They loot a bank, vandalize a paramilitary station and set up 3 posts. This one was the latest in a near-continuous lineup of insurgent violence in Pakistan's Balochistan province that has exploded in the last year. Pakistan's civil and military security forces suffered 685 fatalities and 404 terror attacks in the last year alone. This figure is the highest since 2014. Compared to last year, these figures mark an over 66% surge in deaths due to violence and 49% more incidents. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Balochistan accounted for 94% of all fatalities and 89% of all incidents in the country. In Balochistan, the insurgency and anger against Islamabad goes back all of 75 years, virtually since Pakistan was born. It has been fueled by systematic looting of resources, lack of opportunity in development, and even state-sponsored kidnapping and murder. Elections, when held, have been marred by controversy. Down the decades, a rising trust deficit has led to educated youth resorting to active rebellion. Some names stand out. Shari Baloch, a physics MPhil graduate from the Karachi University, became an icon for Baloch youth. She turned into a suicide bomber and carried out the Chinese Confucius Institute bombing in Karachi in 2022. Mahal Baloch was an LLB student from Turbat. She turned suicide bomber who struck at the FC camp in Balochistan's BLA in 2024. Or Aftab Baloch Chatak, a postgraduate from Islamabad's Quaid-e-Azam University. He was selected as chairman of the Baloch Students' Council demanding rights before he picked up arms with the BLA. He was killed during an attack on a military post in 2021. There are several others on this list, educated youth who turned militant for the Baloch cause. Pakistan itself shuns responsibility and finds it convenient to blame India. The Baloch insurgency has been just one of Pakistan's troubles. Another, the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, continues to strike at Pakistan hard too, and at regular intervals. The TTP that Pakistan alleges gets support from the Taliban across the border in Afghanistan has become the bone of tensions with its other neighbor. The question that arises is, how long can Pakistan continue to blame its neighbors for its mess within? Bureau Report, WION The World is One.
Gunmen attempted to storm the presidential complex in Chad's capital, sparking a battle. 18 gunmen, 1 security personnel died in the fighting. The incident unfolded around 7:45 p.m. local time when armed men stormed the presidential premises. The president was in the complex at the time of the attack. And hours before the shootout, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi met with the president and other senior officials. Security forces responded swiftly, overpowering the attackers. According to government spokesperson and foreign minister, the situation is now completely under control. In a separate video released later, the minister said the destabilization attempt was put down. The attack follows a contentious general election held less than 2 weeks ago, while the government described the polls as a milestone towards civilian rule. Opposition groups alleged widespread fraud and voter suppression. Chad is a landlocked country in northern Africa. It borders Cameroon, Nigeria, Niger. It is under military rule and frequently faces attacks from militant group Boko Haram in the Lake Chad region. Elon Musk and George Soros share a rather strained connection. days back when US President Joe Biden decided to award American investor and billionaire philanthropist Soros with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honor in the US. Reportedly, the Tesla CEO was quick to slam him as Musk joined the wave of online trolling directed at Soros. And this time, he's back, accusing Soros of harboring hatred for Israel. How exactly did that unfold? Taking to the platform X, Musk shared a news report where basically Israeli ambassador to the United Nations, Gilad Erdan, had hit out at Soros for funding NGOs allegedly linked to the Hamas group to the extent of $15 million. Musk wrote, and I'm quoting here, George Soros' hatred of humanity includes Israel, quote unquote. This, by the way, is only the latest in a series of attacks Musk has directed at Soros over time. On January 4, Joe Biden announced the recipients of the Presidential Medal of Freedom, where he named 19 individuals whose contributions span politics, philanthropy, sports, and the arts. And among them was George Soros, the founder of the Open Society Foundations, who was cited for his focus on global initiatives that strengthen democracy, human rights, education, and social justice, quote unquote, as per the White House. Now, Soros' selection was met with a bunch of mixed reactions, with many even calling it politically motivated. Why is that? Because of his long-standing role as a key donor to democratic causes and his comments on Republican politicians. And how had Musk reacted to it? Referring to the award delivered by Biden, Musk called it a travesty. And what's more, in a meme post shared by him, Musk even likened Soros to a Star Wars villain who in the film series has been portrayed as a kind, democratic ruler, while being a secret plotter who wants to take back control in reality. With this, Musk then made a covert suggestion that Soros might be hiding his true motives as well, one that did not escape many, as the post quickly gained traction across social media. Not just that, in an unrelated post, Musk also compared Soros with Magneto from the X-Men series, drawing comparison between how both were Holocaust survivors. Earlier in a podcast as well, Musk has accused Soros of wielding a detrimental influence on global politics, calling him someone actively working to erode the fabric of civilization. What triggered things to escalate? Soros is a controversial figure in his own right, who faced criticism for his far-reaching political influence in countries like Hungary and Russia. His Open Society Foundations, in fact, face pushback, where his initiatives have often been painted as foreign interference, reportedly. Not just abroad, in India as well, Soros was at the center of a political flashpoint when chief of the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party accused the opposition Congress of being linked to Soros and his organizations. Notwithstanding these, what it ultimately boils down to is the ongoing saga in between two of the world's most powerful individuals with considerably huge amount of wealth and wide-ranging influence that can play a role in shaping critical opinions on global matters. Will this tiff end in the future? We'll have to wait and watch.